I call this the Chevron purse because of the pretty pattern that is in the yarn or the fabric yarn that I'm using. And it's a summer purse, so I am working with white cotton. And it's an oval shape, the bottom. So this is one type of shape you can use for your purses. This one measures 12 inches by 10 inches, and obviously you can make it very small, or you can actually make it much larger if you wanted to make a tote. And we're beginning, I'm using just a very small little sample here. And my purse I started with 29 chains, and then I worked 3 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So here's my second chain, and I'm working 3 single crochets in that chain. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm beginning to shape that oval. So the ends of the oval where it's going to increase is always at the very edges of the oval. Now I work up the sides, just putting 1 single crochet in one loop, because I'm going to work up one side and then I'll work down the other side. So I'm doing my single crochets, and then when I get to that last stitch, I'm going to work the 3 single crochets, and we're turning the work to begin to form that oval. And after I finish those 3 single crochets, and actually I would probably work this end up as I'm going, but I'm not going to this time. I'm going to work up the other side, working single crochets, going into the other side of that chain. And when I reach my first single crochet, that was the beginning of that oval, I'm going to mark it, because using a stitch marker or a safety pin, some people use a little piece of yarn. So, because we're going to keep working, we're going to keep working in a spiral. So we want to know where that first stitch is. And we're going to increase then in the center stitch. So that's constantly going to be changing. And the way I'm going to be working only in the back loop, because I want to, I'm creating a little design. So when I get to my center, I would again do the 3 single crochets in that one center stitch, and then continue along this side, working only in the back loop, doing my single crochets. And when I get to the other end, in that center stitch, I will do 3 single crochets. So it's pretty basic and an easy way to make a nice oval. And again, depending on what size purse you make, you're going to adjust your foundation chain to it, and you keep working around, making it as large as you want with your increases at 3 ends. I mean at the 2 ends, by doing the 3 single crochets in the center stitch of that round. Once you've completed the bottom and made it as large as you want it, then just continue working whatever that number of that stitches is. Just work evenly. Do not increase anymore. And you'll notice it will start to cup and move up. It's not going to be an abrupt, but it will be a soft edge where it starts cupping and moving up. Now I worked rounds 10 to 15 this way without the increase. So I have it starting, that it's cupping up now to create a purse, and now I'm adding my ruffle round. And since you're working in the rounds, or a spiral working up, you don't work back and forth, you work in a round. And again, I keep moving my pin up so I know where my round begins. And this stitch is, because we're always working on the front, is a front ruffle single crochet. And to begin with, so I have a nice pretty edge on it, not a ragged edge, I fold over at least 2 or 3 of the ladders and work through those. So I have a nice folded clean edge. And a front single crochet is just as it sounds, putting the ruffle in front of your purse, putting your hook through the 2 ladders in this case, and then the rest of it will be a single ladder, and still work in the back loop only. I'm going to keep the design going, and I do my single crochet. Since I want a softer ruffle, I'm putting 2 single crochets, again working only in the back loop, in between each ruffle stitch, and I still have to finish off here, and you just fold it over. Fold over it as you're working, put it through, continue working in your back loop, do 2 single crochets through the back loop only, and I'm folding over, and now I'm in the single ladder working, again only in the back loop of your single crochet. So it is pretty easy to do. Once you've completed the run round, drop your fabric to the front and continue working around. I've done two rounds of single crochet working only in the back loop, and then picking up, just pick up your fabric yarn and work 1 round of the fabric yarn, drop it to the front, work 2 more rows of single crochet, and that's the pattern. You just continue it. Now if you're using a different fabric, I did 2 in between so it would have a pretty layered effect. You may have your maybe ribbon, so it'll be very thin, so you may not want to do 2 rows in between. You may want to do 1, you may not want to do any. If you have a very thick one, you may want to add more rows, because you just want to make sure the ruffles are layered nicely and you don't see the back of it. Now I continued up until I got to the edge of my purse. You continue as many row ruffles as you want, and remember when you get to the end of your row ruffle, make sure you count off, say these are my last 2 stitches, my last 2 ruffle stitches, count off at least 2 more ladders and cut your fabric there. So you can fold over in the back and make sure you have, again, a nice edge. I finished it off with 1 row. I've got my ruffle, my final ruffle row, and then I did 1 row of single crochets. And after I completed that round, I added a single round of working in the back loop only, slip stitches. And the reason I did that is it makes it a little bit stronger and gives it some body to the purse. Finish off on your round, joining the yarn, weaving in your ends, and then whatever handles you have. You can crochet handles. I've got some kind of fun plastic ones here that I've attached to my purse, and it's ready to go. And it's like I said, a really fun, light summer purse. If you would like to see the written pattern for this, go to simpleandsensational.com, look under the heading Ruffles Galore. I have a collection of ruffles patterns there using all sorts of lace, fabric, ribbon, a good selection of various mesh type yarns that you can use to create projects either for yourself or gifts for other people. And there's purses and other accessories and items for your home. So please go there and look under Ruffles Galore.